Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crunkest Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the Queen, Demetri K. And I am the 5-star general. They murdered Samaria Rice 6 years ago. And his mama still can't get justice. Well, tonight, she come and hang out on the War Zone. We're going to talk about it, man. And we're going to see if we can't get her some justice at the same time. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in and let you guys know that you're the best audience in the world. And we really appreciate you because without y'all, we would not have a show. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you share this video. Demetri will be along in a second. She is actually trying to help Tamir Rice's mom, who's having connection issues. And the thing is we'll get past that and we'll get Samaria Rice on the show, along with my man from Minneapolis, Minnesota, with the new Black Panther Nation, General Nasi. And we're gonna talk about it tonight. Hold on a second. We're gonna talk about it tonight, man. Started off by saying, man, y'all getting them stimuluses. Make sure that you're doing the right thing. Take care of your business, man. These people have sent you $1,800 in 8-9 months, man. Don't be stupid with it. And tonight, if you got a fire gun, man, fire the gun into the ground, bro. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even have to fire one. You should be in your house staying away from the COVID. That's how I feel about it. Donovan, what's going on, my friend? Take us to the news.
Yes, absolutely, you guys. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the War Zone. Happy New Year's Eve for all of you guys that are into celebrating that. I mean, can it get worse than 2020? Possibly, but then again, let's just be optimistic and hope for the best, right? In the news today, as you saw, the Democrats once again caved to Mitch McConnell as they did not want to fight and filibuster with Bernie Sanders to fight for $2,000. So they caved in on that, and $600, it looks like that's pretty much what you're going to get, and that's pretty much it. According to Joe Biden, when he gets in office, he said that's just an initial down payment. He never told you what his long-term goal is of payments that you're going to need. A lot of the moratoriums have ended or going to end, and local and state coffers are being emptied. But the Defense Department got their money. Federal employees got their money. Congressional people got their money as well. I was talking earlier today on some of my channels and my podcast that Samaria Rice will be on the show tonight. I've asked everybody to tune in and check this out. We're going into a new year. And like I said last night on the War Zone, we have a lot to deal with that is unfinished business. We still need to get justice for Sandra Bland. We need to get Tamir some justice. We need to get Breonna Taylor some justice. And speaking of Breonna Taylor, the police have initiated, the local police there have initiated a letter that is going to fire 2 of the officers that were involved in that shooting. And again, the police union is going to fight it, but I guess they're going to pat themselves on the back that after almost a year or 2 now, they are going to get rid of, or they're going to try to get rid of these 2 detectives. One that did shoot the fatal shot to Breonna Taylor, and the other that didn't get the correct warrant, didn't know what the hell he was doing, didn't care what he was doing. So we're going into a new year, but we still have a lot of unfinished business.
Last night we sitting on the show, and Demetri's coming, y'all, with Samaria Rice. And Samir's people reached out to me because the Department of Justice said they couldn't come to a determination on those officers, so they wouldn't file they wouldn't file federal charges on them. And we talked for a while. When I got off the show, we talked. And We talked about a little bit of everything, about no justice, about Ben Crump, everything I thought. She ended up firing Mr. Crump. She ended up firing him, and come to find out, he's nothing but a malpractice attorney who already has the deals cut with the states. And what I try to tell people, and I try to educate them on, when this happens, you don't take the money first, because the money to them is your justice. And that's why I'm proud to be associated with the Pellerin family, because they have yet to take a dime, because they want justice. Now, I can't knock anybody for what they do, but when you do it, don't expect for them to do anything else. So we talked about it, and I agreed that I would help her and go to Cleveland, Ohio. It's looking like the 15th of January. But I say, if I got to rock and go to Cleveland, Ohio, I'm going to need some muscle with me. I'm going to need some muscle. So I called my big homie, local chairman, New Black Panther Nation in Minnesota. There she go. There she go. Hey, there you go.
Hello.
You welcome, baby.
All right, I'm gonna mute your mic. I'm gonna mute your mic, Miss Rice. Just sit tight, and then we'll come to you.
Okay. No.
All right. So I said, well, if I gotta go down there and help my sister, I'm gonna need some muscle. I called my big homie, the local chairman from the New Black Panther Nation, under the direction of Brother Cornell X. Met DJ in Minneapolis, and regardless of the uniform or whatever y'all think the affiliations, we ended up becoming brothers. So I called my brother and said, I need some muscle to rock with me in Cleveland, Ohio, man. And he said, man, get with the chairman. I called Quan. That was automatic 2-second conversation. So we will definitely be going to Cleveland, Ohio, to make sure that whatever we decide to do, that this family will be protected. And I never worry about, being protected when the New Black Panther Nation is in the building. So, it is what it is. I want to welcome my guest tonight, local chairman from the New Black Panther Nation, my man, Nasi, and of course, the queen of one of our babies that was murdered by the hands of white supremacy in the police department, Miss Samaria Rice. How you doing, sweetie? You got to unmute your microphone.
Gary, thank you for having me. I'm doing, it's a lot to deal with, but I'm doing, and I'm surrounded with a lot of love and care right now. So I'm doing the best that I can under the circumstances.
I'll let Demetra start it off. Go with it, D.
So hello, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday night and the last war zone of 2020. And unfortunately, I didn't hear anything you guys talked about, so I don't know exactly what was discussed. But anyway,
just introduced them, gave them some background on the case.
Okay, good. And Gary, can you switch our screens? Perfect. All right. So as you all see, if you could please, in the comment section, everybody's watching, please share so everybody can get the information and join in on the conversation. We want to welcome all of our guests, and specifically Miss Rice. As Gary and the fellas told you what happened, the DOJ decided, Department of Justice decided not to pursue criminal charges against the officers involved in the murder of Tamir Rice. Basically, they said there's not enough evidence, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mrs. Rice, but not enough evidence to criminally charge the officers. It was said from the DOJ that the officers said they repeatedly and constantly told Tamir to put the gun down and this, that, and the other. But you guys have seen the video, and what kind of conversation could be had in 2 seconds, right? And so, go ahead.
So actually, the DOJ own administration wanted to take this in to the grand jury because they found probable cause of taking the case to the grand jury, and they sat on it and sat on it and sat on it. So right now we're asking for the records the reports of the decision that was made from their own administration. And when you talked about the commands that Timothy Loman gave my son, I'm looking for a perjury indictment on a state level, because he blankly is lying, of course, because the windows was rolled up, and you can never, tell nobody, put your hands up 3-4 times, and the windows was rolled up, and his own partner said the window was rolled up. So right now I have a year left for the statute of limitations on a state level to bring charges against Timothy Loman for perjury, and that's up to the prosecutor, I believe, and I guess maybe the governor, which is Mike DeWine right now, and the Attorney General is Dave Yost. So those are some of the people that I need to have a conversation with. And Mike O'Malley is the prosecutor right now.
So, and also, just want to say my heart does go out to you. I mean, everybody in the world has heard of, your situation with your son. But let me ask you this. What happened with the Obama administration? Because this actually happened during their administration. What were their reasonings for not pursuing justice for you and your baby?
At the time when we were at the DOJ, when Obama administration was in, we were working with Vanita Gupta, which is part of the Civil Rights Division. And, at that time, everything was being investigated. And as Obama was leaving out of office, Trump was coming in, because it was around that time whenever all the decisions and everything was being made and things was going into transition. So that's basically what happened. I don't know why Obama did not deal with this immediately, but I thought that it would be dealt with immediately, because Vanita Gupta was having meetings with myself and my attorney team at the time. And at the time, it was Timothy Loman was looking at some charges of willful intent, which means that he already had his pistol out on his lap in order to shoot my son less than a second. I have a video where it's less than a second.
So you said you have somebody got some feedback on one of my. So you have less than a year to, I guess, before the statute limitations run out, and so you basically have to appeal to all the people that you just mentioned in order to do something. So are you hopeful that they will do anything? And then what are you expecting them to do?
Indict Timothy Loman for perjury charges about when he's supposed to have been given Tamir commands to put his hands up. So that's what I'm actually looking for, is perjury charges. I have exhausted all my other options. The federal investigation, was just drug out purposely, and knowing that the statute of limitations will be coming up soon so they purposely drug it out and purposely put out a 15-page document stating that it wasn't enough evidence, and clearly it was, because it was on video and the whole world seen it. So I can't understand what they're saying about the angle, and the tape wasn't clear, and it's not making any sense. The whole 15-page document is bogus. It's nothing but lies. So I'm hoping that Mike O'Malley, which is the prosecutor, and we have had conversations with him. He has told me that he doesn't deal with these type of cases, police shootings. He likes to direct them out to the Attorney General, possibly other prosecutors, I believe, something like that. But yeah, so I have had a personal conversation with him. One of my attorneys had a personal conversation with him, and he seemed like he don't want to budge investigating Tamir's case, bringing a grand jury for it and things like that. I don't know if it's the best route to see if a judge will make a decision to bring forth a grand jury, or if he can make a decision for probable cause to maybe indict Timothy Loman. So it's a couple avenues that we can go. I'm just really not for sure which one. Right now, the attorneys that I'm working with, I'm not really happy with them. So I need to make some decisions really, really quick about just not dealing with them and looking for a PR person to represent me when I can't be available. So it's a lot of things going on right now.
Well, I tell you what, I know they watching, so I need them to get a close up of me. I know y'all got tabs on them, tapping a phone. I know how y'all get out. I want to introduce myself to you. I'm the head shit starter in charge. All of y'all that don't want to have a conversation, I guarantee you're going to sit in the room with me. And at that point, you're going to answer every question that she got. You don't have a choice in the matter. Because at the end of the day, you get to control your destiny in Cleveland, Ohio. It's up to you. I'm not going to do too much talking about how I get on, but I can guarantee you, all of y'all going to sit in the room and you're going to answer this mama's questions. Because if it was your child, you'd want those questions answered. And I'm going to be honest with you. Of course, me and you, we've talked a couple of times. We're going to talk more than that. Hopefully, y'all can do what they did in Minnesota when I got there. You're going to have them federal agents waiting on me at the airport? I'm not Grandmaster J, partner. I'm not Grandmaster J. And I'm going to tell you right now, all we want to do is have a conversation. And then from now, we can make some things happen. But justice is what we want. And if it ain't no goddamn justice, it ain't going to be no peace. My man Nasir, what's going on with you? Local chairman of the new Black Panther Nation. What's going on, my friend?
Peace and Black Power, family.
Now, y'all know when I go down there to be with Miss Rice and help out and do whatever she needs me to do, I'm going to make sure that we well protected. I'm going to make sure that we well protected. And I got a moniker, Miss Rice, and it's simple. I know you done heard it. Don't start no shit, won't be nothing. That's how I feel about it. So, my man Nasir, give us a little background on your group and you know, how you plan on making sure we good. I already know, but they just need to know.
Peace and Black Power, family. The local chairman of the new Black Panther Nation Minnesota chapter under the leadership of National Chair Mr. Quanell Lex. Peace and blessings to Sister Samir. You know, we will be coming down here on the January the 15th to protect you, your loved ones, your family, while you are out to receive justice within the community of constant police brutality within the racist country, what we call America today, with the triple case. Also, I just want to touch on some, brother Jerry. One thing that we stand for is we push on the 10-point program. Number 7 on the 10-point program, it speaks on that we want to put an end to police harassment and police brutality and them constantly murdering our young children in the streets brutally. One thing that we need to also push for is making sure when we deal with these police officers, we got to be sure that as people that's from our communities that is in these police force that's dealing within our community, so that way they're able to know how to handle and operate amongst our own kind. We have police officers in the police forces that's not even from our communities. Instead, they're from the suburban areas. So therefore, they don't know black people. They don't know how we operate. They don't know how we deal. They don't know nothing about our culture, nothing. They're just patrolling our community, period, from all the wrong reasons. That's the number 7 of the 10-point program. And also, I'm going to speak on the number 9 because I heard Sister Samaria speak about the court and the jury. What we as a new Black Panther Nation and what we stand on and what we need to do as a community as well, Sister Samaria, and also Jerry, when we come down there, we also need to push for an all-black jury. The reason why a lot of our children and a lot of our young brothers and the children and things are not getting justice in these courts is because the system's messed up, the system's destroyed with white supremacy. We need an all-black jury to be able to deal with these type of cases. So therefore, it will be handled legitimately. That is something that we really need to push for as a nation of people, because unity is key. So when we come down there, sister, we're going to make sure you're protected, your family's protected, your loved ones is protected at all ways, because we are the vanguards of our community. Straight up. So, Brother Jerry.
Okay, yes. Greetings, everybody. Again, welcome to the War Zone Thursday night edition. I just got a couple of questions in regards for Miss Samaria, Miss Rice. There's a lot of sayings going out there. Oh, she took money, so that's her justice. Why does she doesn't really care? Blah 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 blah. But the one thing, whenever a tragedy like this happens, God forbid if it happened, I lost my son or and whatever. How are you doing as a mom? First off, how are you doing?
Well, it's very hard because I have 3 other children, 25, 22, and 20. I have 4 grandchildren from the age 1 through 6. And I am the CEO and the founder of the Tamir Rice Foundation. I do a lot of things to keep Tamir's legacy going, to keep the awareness going, meet with different type of people, political people. It just all depends what's going on. I purchased a whole building in 2018, a commercial building, 5,000 square feet, to turn it into Tamir Rice Afrocentric Cultural Center. So I'm very busy. Sometimes as a mom, you do not know how to take care of yourself and you put everything else in the front. But I'm learning these days to put some balance in my life and pace myself out a little bit more for the most part. But I'm extremely busy in things like that. Building, about to open up another business and things like that. My way of giving back to the community is investing into the community through Tamir's eyes, through Tamir's legacy and things like that. So this is what I'm doing these days on top of many other projects that I have going on, things like that. Just keeping the awareness and trying to hopefully.
Okay, and let me follow that. Yeah, let me follow that up. Or like with all of these things that have happened, everything that you've been through, which is horrific, because not only did you lose your baby, you have to deal with a system that is constantly putting in your face what they can't do. Now, you're a fairly young mom. I mean, you're younger than me. I definitely know that by leaps and bounds. What advice would you give other mothers in regards to their children in a situation kind of, what Tamir was dealing with and what they're going on? You know what I mean? Like, especially for our Black boys. We know the girls, but the children in general. As a Black mom who's going through this, what would you give advice to other parents out there so that we don't have to go through the troubles that you're going through after the fact that your child has been gunned down in the streets?
Well, it's really kind of hard because some moms that's experiencing what I have been through already, and I'm reaching out to them, and they don't understand. They don't quite understand, and I just let them know that I'm here to walk with you through this, guide you through this, and help you in any way I can. But it's really nothing that you can say. I'm gonna be honest. It can happen to anybody. I mean, literally, I was a mother that was invested into my children anyway. I have 3 high school graduates. You know what I'm saying? 2 of my children were there in school when Tamir was murdered. So I had to put everything, that emotions and feelings, I had to put all that to the side and be the rock for my children, for them to graduate, and still fight for justice for Tamir. It is not easy. I have a lot of numbness that I go through going through my body. I don't get a chance to feel at times, so I do believe that I'm doing this through God, I'm through God's grace. I honestly, because I don't know how I get up every morning. It's not easy to get up out my bed every morning, but I have to. And through God's grace, He's allowing me to keep getting up because it's not easy. So I would just tell a mom to invest in your child and just be alert and be aware of what's going on, because if you're living in America, it's dangerous if you're Black and brown. I participated in a documentary that went to the Grammys, and it was nominated for a Grammy. It was called Traveling While Black. You have to see it in virtual reality. And it was just an experience. So I participated in many documentaries and things like that. And Traveling While Black, that was an eye opener for me, because you really could get killed in America if you Black or brown. And I wasn't aware of what was going on as I was thrown into this. I may have seen Rodney King and Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown, but I was just watching it with my children on CNN, and then here I go, I'm on there. So that's a reality check for me, and that's a so real reality check.
D, I'm gonna ask a question because I know you're gonna piggyback on it. Being a parent, Samaria, and going through this, because people need to know this. How important is it to have the right representation? Because when you're grieving, the sharks come out the water. They show up. They want to work with you. They gonna get justice for your kid. How important is it to have the right representation? And did you have the right representation, or did you have to chunk some of them Negroes to the curve?
Yes, I did have to kick a lot of people to the curve. A lot of people came out of woodwork. Like they knew me. They knew everything about Tamir and my family, and it's very important to have the right representation, because the attorneys are vultures and snakes, and it's very crucial that how they play political with your life. I mean, Tamir was global. You know what I'm saying? It was global. And for them to play political with his life and my family, like, it's crucial. It's heart rate. I mean, it's very crucial. So I really needed a strong representation at the time, to let them boys know that I was not playing with them in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Cuyahoga County. And I just didn't have it. I was sick a lot of days. I had to argue and fight with my lawyers, the prosecutor, my family. It's lucky that I'm still alive. You understand? I promise you. So it's very important to have good representation, strong representation, and that's not gonna fold on you, because the law is the law, and they too busy not, following the law and bending the law and letting things slide. In the state of Ohio, Timothy Loman should have been charged with aggravated murder, because Tamir, 12 years and under, 12 years and under is aggravated murder, 12 years and under. So he should have been charged with that. And I just don't understand how he wasn't.
So this is my question, and I'll give it to Demetra. And on this show, we ask tough questions. On this show, we ask tough questions, but we expose the truth.
Yeah.
Now, when this first happened, I think when we spoke, you had an attorney, you got rid of them.
Yeah.
And then you ended up with Crump.
Got rid of him.
You got. Yeah. What was your? Because people need to hear this. And you don't have to go into detail. Why did you have to get rid of Benjamin Crump?
He was not providing the paperwork that I was supposed to have, like, as you file for motions, and my civil rights document was not written correctly. It had to, my other attorneys, they had to go back and amend it for a lot of reasons. I just wasn't comfortable with him. He was not providing security for me. The only thing that he was able to do was expose Tamir and flying me all over the country and not quoting the right laws and things like that. So he just only thing he's good for is exposure. I'm gonna just be honest with you. He does not know the law. He does not know the law. So, and he's going from state to state. You have to be able to know the laws of those states. That's why they have local attorneys attached to people like himself that comes out of town to try to represent these families. That's why they always want a local attorney, because the local attorney knows the law. Benjamin Crump don't know the laws while he flying from state to state. So he just was not making me feel good at the end of the day. He didn't make me feel secure. And, I just wasn't happy. I wasn't getting my paperwork and stuff like that as I was supposed to, my things that I was supposed to have. So, and I don't know what the other families was going through, but I just was not happy at all. I didn't want to be sitting on the side of the bed saying, what if I would have did this and what if I would have did that? Literally, as he was my attorney for 6 to 8 months, I couldn't eat or sleep because something was not right. It just wasn't right. I was flying all over the world. Where's my paperwork? Where's my civil rights lawsuit document? Like, you wasn't providing no paperwork, and he knows that. He tried to also blackball me, as I don't know if you all heard of Pastor Vernon in Cleveland, Ohio. He has a mega church, and Pastor Vernon, he's another one, told me that I couldn't have my son's funeral at his church because he was going to be the only one preaching. He sits about 5,000 people in his church. Tamir had about 32 or 35,000 people show up at his funeral. I don't know where these people came from, but I couldn't go to Pastor Vernon church. I went to CJ Matthew church, and his church only said 2,500. So at the end of the day, Pastor Vernon had rubbed me the wrong way, but he tried to make amends to me. He donated some money or whatever. And then he was like, if you need anything, Miss Rice, let me know. So I told him I wasn't happy with Benjamin Crump. He had a meeting, and Pastor Vernon allowed me to have a meeting at his church, and he was a part of my meeting. He tried to bamboozle me. He tried to blackball me and get in there and say, well, if you gonna fire Ben and them today, go on here to fire them today, and if not, go and let him do his job. It was me, my uncle and my sister in that room. We was about to jump them. My sister stood up and said, I'm not going to let you keep blackballing my sister. And she left out the door and I ran after her. And after that, I went ahead and fired Ben and them. They was playing a game. They was playing a game with me and I was not about to play with them. I was not.
Demetra?
So, I would definitely say you did the right thing. It's always important, and I'm in public relations. I'm a public relations professional, but it's always wise to have someone who has a passion for people and doing the right thing over people who have a passion for money. Now, we all, heard a lot about Benjamin Crump, and from what I understand, doesn't sound like he's won a whole lot of cases. But for
he hasn't won none, ma'am, not one. And he's flying from from state to state, jumping on these cases. And he's really just agent for the state to go in there to get the less money as possible, if you ask me.
And that's where I was going with it, because as we see now, he's in New York representing Keon Harold. You guys saw the little boy who was accosted by the lady who said he had his iPhone.
Phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's now over there. And so I think a lot of people are now just kind of on to Benjamin Crump, but I guess I'm wondering why people keep contacting him. I know he came about really during your case and Trayvon Martin. So he was kind of...
Ain't nobody contacting him. He's probably contacting him. Mm-hmm. I actually talked to the Casey Godson family, and I talked to Andre Hill's family. Them people he's contacting them people. Okay, nobody's reaching out to him.
The ambulance,
and they know that he's supposed to be whatever attorney, but they don't understand how crucial it is. They don't quite understand, because I told both of them if they wasn't happy with his representation, let me know. I had some people for them. So I haven't got a phone call yet. And I have tried to reach out to the Breonna Taylor family so many times. They didn't block me. They didn't block me from Ahmaud Arbery family, from the George Floyd family. Like, I can't get in contact with them people because I would be telling them the truth, Ben do not know what y'all think he knows. He's only good for exposing people, the exposure, and he's going to fly you around the world, and he's not going to quote the right law. Just know that. I had a federal prosecutor tell me that, okay, that he does not know the law, okay? So when a federal prosecutor, and he was on my team, tell me that Ben don't know the law, that's embarrassing. So that was from the state of Ohio.
He can't know the law because he has to. If he gonna jump from state to state, he has to be licensed in every state that he goes to. So what he's doing is he's using what I call satellite attorneys. He's using a local attorney to be his satellite attorney. So he can fly in, make the appearance, but the local attorney is the one really got to do all the work. So when he flew his ass into Lafayette to mess with the Pellerin family, say, homeboy, you get up out of here, because if you don't hurry up and get up out of here, you're going to have some street problems.
Yeah. Ben knows I don't mess with him. I tried to, I'm very good friends with Michael Brown mom at one point in time. And I was like, are you happy with him? Are you sure? And, she didn't even want to, she told me she was too far in the game and she didn't want to leave him. And when I talked to Sabrina about it, when me and Sabrina was on talking terms, she didn't have no bad advice. She just told me to do what I got to do. So, I don't really talk to Sabrina. You know what I'm saying? It's a discrepancy there. It's among the moms and the families and things like that. But I do know some of the moms, and I've been with some of the moms, like Eric Gardner's mom and Sandra Bland's mom. I haven't seen her in a while, but even with some of those people, I just don't really run with a lot of people, because I'm not on no Al Sharpton dog and pony show. I ain't with being the Crump Chump. I'm not with none of that. They can't keep with that. They was begging me to go out to Washington, D.C., and I was not going out there. I'm not going out there for that. No. So it's just always a lot to deal with those type of people. That's why I kind of move the way that I move. And if you follow the Tamir Rice page, you see some things that I'm doing in the community. I really just want to unify our people and show them how to love on each other and things like that, because we are really dying by the second, and it's crucial.
Let me switch gears here really quick. So yeah, definitely Benjamin Crump needs to be exposed, but you confirmed what a lot of us already, kind of felt about Benjamin Crump. So yeah, he definitely needs to be exposed. But what explanation did you get from the DAs and everybody in charge when Ohio is an open and carry state, correct?
Yeah.
So the officer sees your son with what he thought was a gun, which, all right, you're in Ohio open carry state. What's the big deal? Why are they saying they're not going to do anything about that? The fact that he, murdered him in less than 2 seconds in a state that's open and carry. Like, what was the explanation?
They didn't really give me an explanation for that. That was really not a part of the investigation. Why they didn't even approach him to make, if he had a gun, to see if he was licensed, just in the, just as we looked at the Philando Castile situation. So I don't know why they did not even approach him, because they got a phone call in, and the dispatch failed to tell them that it was a juvenile and it was a toy gun. And I guess that was the reason everything was not communicated or whatever. But I don't know. I really don't know why. And it's still puzzled to me. But what I was told is that the NRA should be making some noise in situations like that. And that's one thing I have not pursued, was the NRA, and how do you all don't stand up for the people in an open carry state. They don't know if they thought he was a 20-year-old male, when was you gonna click in with your mind to approach this person correctly? Or if you fear for your life, why didn't you get behind your bullhorns and do things appropriately? So you all seen what happened. So and Timothy Loman comes from a troubled background. So do Frank Garnback. He assaulted an African-American woman a year before that, and the city paid her $100,000 to shut up. I tried to go talk to her. She wouldn't even talk to me. Frank Garnback is the FTO officer, and that was in the driver. So he should never be back on the streets or working or anything like that. Apparently he is working, because he supposed to got a 10-day suspension, but it got narrowed down to 5 days.
I don't think you need the NRA. I think you need NWA. You need a nigga with an attitude, because they ain't no more talking about this, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Open carry state. You roll up and jump out and start shooting in an open carry state.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Lord.
You could have never told Tamir to put your hands up, as because the window was rolled up. His partner said the window was rolled up. So it's a lot of discrepancies right here. And really, they should have indicted him for the murder of Tamir, but they fired him for lying on his application. So already, if he's lying on his application, you think he wouldn't lie about how many times he told my son to put his hands up? So therefore, it's some perjury charges that needs to be filed. He needs to be charged with perjury, obstruction of justice.
Well, if they do that, then I'd say 3/4 of all the police officers in the United States would be fired, because we know they'd be lying on those reports, when they arrest us and all those other things. I mean, it's just amazing to me how here you are, a victim that is saying what everybody knows goes on time and time and time again, and yet our Black leaders do nothing about it. I I believe Loretta Lynch was the AG at the time. Black Girl Magic,
Yes,
Sister Girl. Has she stayed? She didn't stay with the case at
You
all,
know what?
even after she left office?
She should be ashamed of herself. And I'm gonna just be honest with you. Loretta Lynch, she should be ashamed of herself. She never reached out to me at all. And out of her and Eric Holder at the time when he was Attorney General, neither one of them reached out to me. So that's so disrespectful. It was like a not like it was a slap in the face. It was a very hard slap in the face. As a Black woman and a Black man, y'all don't reach out to me after y'all seen my son assassinated on TV. So I have no understanding with that. I don't know why they never reached out to me. They never really spoke about it or anything. Like to this day. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me follow up with this. Other than AG Holder and Lynch, has any congressional Black leaders reached out to you and stayed on this case? Because I haven't heard anything from these people since this incident happened.
No, they're not gonna say nothing because Al Sharpton got it. He had it locked up, but I kept sending him a message to stop mentioning my son's name. I don't want people to think that I'm mixed up with you because I'm not mixed up with you, Al. So, you know, he used to say Tamir name all the time, but Al had it locked up. They not gonna say nothing. They don't say nothing. Marcia Fudge, she just said something, and that's really about it. I don't really know no other Black leaders to say anything about it, about Tamir's case at all. So,
I'm gonna switch gears for a second, Brother Nasi. We dealt with George Floyd.
Yes, sir.
Last night in Minneapolis, a Somalian brother was killed by the police. They said that he fired on them. Now, I watched the video, and unless my eyes deceiving me, I didn't see that part. What is the temperature like in Minneapolis, Minnesota after another police shooting?
Well, after watching the video, you don't see the young man firing any shots. Also, the camera angle that the police officer was showing, or that they released from the police, you couldn't see anything really. You know, he was already boxed in. You couldn't see nothing. The lights was extremely bright. But they try to say that it was a felony stop because they said the young man had a firearm. But once again, the story in that the camera footage that they released, you can't make any judgment off of that at all because you can't really tell what's going on. You couldn't tell at all. You couldn't tell nothing. The only thing I've seen the police officers shooting him after they boxed him in. You know what I'm saying? After they boxed him in. And another thing, Minnesota's an open carry state. Minnesota's a concealed carry state. You know, and that's exactly what I was saying earlier when you have these Ku Klux Klans in uniforms living in the suburbs in our communities, patrolling our communities, not knowing how to deal with our people in the community. And these type of things happen because it's out of fear. A lot of these things is out of fear. You shouldn't be in the communities or vanguarding the communities, period, if you are afraid of the people that you're supposedly patrolling. But they've never been patrolling in the first place. This stuff goes back historically to them being actually slave patrols. That's what the badge actually stands for. We need to do something as a community to be able to stand within our community and unify to be able to deal with these type of problems and patrol our communities by ourselves to be able to deal with these issues. You know what I'm saying? Because these police, they only come into the communities.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I say something right quick? So Timothy Loman's father, I don't know his name. He was a U.S. Marshal. He was friends with Chief Calvin Williams, okay? And Timothy Loman had resigned from Independence, Ohio, because he was about to get fired from being reckless with his firearm and his bulletproof vest and crying on the gun range and stuff like that, and not doing what he's supposed to. So before he was fired, they let him resign, and he came over to Cleveland because his father is a U.S. Marshal, and Chief Calvin Williams, the chief of police right now, they're friends. So that's how he came into our system. They never checked his HR report. He was only an officer for 6 months, and I had a dead son. So the police department is infiltrated with white supremacy, and Cleveland has been corrupted over 100 years, as many other cities across this nation. But the corruption is really so real in Cleveland, Ohio. They have, what I have experienced is like they mastered and beat them up so bad they don't even want to fight for themselves. At the end of the day, it took a lot of people from out of town to support me when they did those first marches for Tamir in the beginning. I don't know if you all remember. But it was like Ferguson came up here, and people from all over the country had came up here to shut Cleveland down. So I just wanted to share that, how Timothy Loman even got in the police department, and by Calvin Williams and his father being being friends, and you owe me one and all of that. It was in the report years ago. I never saved it, but I did read it. It was in a Scene magazine, and the person that wrote it was Russo. The last name was Russo. So I'm gonna try to research that up, and it would tell you that Timothy Loman's father was a U.S. Marshal, and Chief Calvin Williams, they were friends. That's how he came into our police.
Now, Nasi, and then I'm gonna pass it to Demetra. It don't look like a good shooting in Minnesota. It's less than a mile from where they murdered George. And I know, because I walked them streets. What's the temperature like in Minneapolis right now?
The temperature in Minneapolis is like, we had like one degree. It's super cold out here. You know what I'm saying?
No,
super
what's
cold.
the temperature?
You know,
What's
we
the
having
temperature?
Blizzards. We had a blizzard.
What's the temperature on
the
street?
Temperature on the street is high right now. It's high right now. You know, with brothers and sisters, like, as soon as that happened, you know, brothers and sisters hit the community heavy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just nonstop with these slave patrols. It's nonstop, you know. So it's real heavy right now. They just released the dash cam footage today. Once again, the angle of the camera, you know, these slave patrols do everything in their power because they know they got the white supremacist system behind them, backing them. And they know majority of times, just like with George Floyd, with the George Floyd incident, you know, they're sitting up here going, it's taking so long, but also you have the murderer and people that's lined up and tied to it. They're asking for an all-white jury. They take jury to suburbs. Yeah, you want to take the jury to the suburbs so you can have an all-white jury back you. That's what's going on. This is why we need to fight to make sure we have all-black juries, because if they can have an all-white one to persecute us, we can have an all-black one to stand for us. So the temperature is heavy right now in Minnesota.
So Ms. Rice, is Nina Turner, she's also from Ohio, has she reached out to you at all? She's running for Congress.
Well, she has not reached out to me since she's been running for Congress, or since she started running. But I talked to Nina in the beginning of my journey, as she was working with the previous governor, John Kasich. And at the time, they were talking about a task force. They were developing a task force to deal with the policing and things like that. And I never heard no more about it. After that, me and Nina participated in a woman's voice program together. And we were supposed to have a meeting. It never happened. I know Nina will have if I reach out to her and want to have a conversation, I know she will be willing to have a conversation. But I already been down that road with Nina a couple times. You know, I'm not for sure if I'm gonna have a conversation with her or not. You know, probably back then I would have, but I don't know right now. I don't really know. I mean, maybe I don't have no ill wills towards her. I just know that I need things to be improved. You know, I don't need you blowing a bunch of smoke in my ear and in my face. And Nina knows that. So people know, you know, they don't really deal with me too much because they know I mean what I say. You know, I don't have time. So
let me ask you this too. What's your relationship like with Black Lives Matter? Where are they are they involved at all in your son's case, or?
No, they better not be. No. And it's no ill will against them, the movement. You know, the network itself, I had a relationship with them in the beginning. And I really thought that, you know, that they were doing what they say they were doing, as they were supporting me heavily in the beginning. But I started seeing no structure, things out of order, the people not being taken care of, no programs being developed in the community, you know, things like that. And I had told them that I wasn't happy. And you know, I have always told them, don't never say Tamir's name, because he has his own platform, and I don't need you all saying his name because I know what you all are doing. And I'm seeing what you're doing with the families and how you all are showing up and getting paid off of the families, the baby's blood, the Black and brown people's blood, the citizens' blood, and y'all not doing nothing for the community. So no, we don't have no type of relationship. No. I do know all of them, all three of them. And the only one that I will talk to is Opal Tometi, because she was kind of real with me and just honestly telling me what was going on as everything was unfolding, you know. And at that time, I don't even really believe she had any control, because of course you all keep hearing Patrice Colors. So I believe at the end of the day, she was initiating everything. And although I have a relationship, or I had a relationship with all three of them, I can still have a relationship with Opal, because she's always going to be real with me and things like that. And I told her, I said, hey, I don't like what y'all doing, and y'all need to put some structure. Y'all need to fix this. Y'all out here, these people is working and nobody's getting paid. There's no programs in the community. The families are homeless. Nobody's getting paid. Like, this is not right. So they know how I feel. They would never dare come for me, because they know I would continue to expose them. They know that. Trust me. No, but I don't have no relationship with them. In the local chapter that's in Cleveland and Ohio, what can I say?
You want me to say it for you?
Go ahead and say. It. Go ahead.
Niggas.
What I have noticed is that certain activists straddle the fence. And I don't need no stress. I don't need no fence straddlers with me. I don't need none of y'all with me. So if you're going to straddle the fence, you need to go ahead over there, because this ain't no straddle the fence measures. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing these type of games with them. And sometimes y'all know I have to be careful how I move, you know, things like that, because they watching me. They know what's going on. So at the end of the day, sometimes I really just can't say what I want to, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all know what I really want to say. Because how I feel and how I got to live my life and how God has set this up for me, He set me up to lead us to a victory. I have no other choice but to continue to do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And I can do it on a whole different measures if I had the right people. You know what I'm saying? Cleveland has not really, what can I say? They have not really stood up or showed me anything. And that's why, as you see, I continue to rise, as y'all continue to follow me. The nation has did this for me. You know what I'm saying? They have supported me. You know, Tamir has an organization where I don't even have to do nothing but do what I'm doing, and God is sending the blessings there. He's sending them. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a human being, first and foremost. I don't have no choice. My son was 12 years old. I have no choice but to represent him in his most purest, the purity. You understand what I'm saying? The most purest way I can, because he was pure. That was a baby playing in the park, and everybody seen that. Everybody seen it. And you gonna ride up like you the Dukes and Hazzard or something. You had no business being a Cleveland police officer. So shame on Cleveland for not checking his reports and things like that. But Cleveland has been corrupt. So what can I say? The mayor, you know what I'm saying? How you been a mayor for almost 16 years? Ain't some limitations on the terms? So it's a lot of things that I do in the community. Like we was doing a civilian oversight. I don't know if y'all heard about the civilian oversights, where it's like the commission is like made up. So ours was made of like 13 people, like lawyers, couple police officers, and couple local people that was doing it, and then some of the family members. We did a committee. I'm on the committee, and we got the petition going on why it should be a civilian oversight in the Cleveland, Ohio, because they gotta have some accountability some type of way. This is, you know what I'm saying? So it's always something to do. Like city council, they don't like to see me coming because they know I'm not playing with them. All of these abandoned houses and everything, Frank Jackson, you putting up new this and new that. What about the community? We need it too. Okay, we need everything that you're doing for them. So they know they don't like to see me coming, but that they really ain't gonna like to see me coming because I already told them. So it is what it is. Hey, it's not my fault.
You seem like a God-fearing woman, and it seems like you asked God for something. And I think
God to give me justice for my son. Definitely.
Well, I tell you, the first thing you said, you say you need somebody that don't straddle the fence. Well, I'm a big old boy, so ain't no sense of me sitting on no fence, because I'm gonna either stick myself in the ass or I'm gonna tear up my pants. So, you know, it's time to get rid of these poodles and bring you in a bona fide pit bull so we can go and get down to business. Because the thing is, y'all watching, I know y'all watching. Hey, it's an army out there, man. It's an army in Cleveland, but you know where they located? They located in the streets. And I already made the calls to the streets. So we either gonna get some act right, or them boys can tear your ass up and ain't nobody gonna stop them. That's what it boils down to. And I think we gotta have these conversations with these people, because I always remind them that as much as you try to corral the violence in the Black community, it'll find a way to escape. And when it escapes and it comes to your community, be careful what you wish for. So my thing is me, from me to you, and I know my friend is there, Donovan and Demetra from California. You don't want to hear her story because they killed her baby in California, in LA. This is ridiculous. And the only way we're going to stop it, we got to stand up against it. And we got to be ready to do what we do. I met that lady in the back at an IHOP when I was in Minneapolis. And never forgot her. She never forgot me. And we're going to get some justice for her son too, in LA. Because I'm so connected in them streets down in LA. And it's what it is. So am I threatening anybody? No, I'm not threatening you. I'm warning you that either you do right by our people or the wrath of God is going to come on you. And for all them God-fearing people that's making these judicial decisions and thinking this is a game, I know you know God. So let me make sure you can see me real good. You know Lucifer? Because you about to meet him. You about to meet him. I don't play no games when I show up. I ain't kissing no ass. I want justice. I want justice. Well, who does he think he is? I'm America's worst nightmare. I'm an educated nigga. So buckle up, Cleveland, Ohio, because the OG is coming. Demetri.
I just
all right, go ahead, ma'am.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't have nothing to say. No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it is really, really refreshing. You have a great attitude in spite of everything. Because, a lot of times we see these parents of, people who have been murdered by the police and stuff like that. And they're so apologetic and, forgiving and, all of that. And we just, kind of want to just get along. And it is so refreshing to see that is not your attitude, that you are a rider for justice for your son and you will stop at nothing to get it. So I love it. I'm behind you 100%. And I know, Gary is going to go out there and make it do what it do. And so, I'm going to do everything I can to support him so that he can ultimately help you get justice.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's where we at. And I just those attorneys that I had to deal with, they always told me that they're here to litigate. They never told me that they was going to pursue criminal charges, because I didn't hire them for that. They made it clear to me over and over and over again. So with having civil attorneys, and one of my civil attorneys, he was Sabol Chandra, he was a federal ex-prosecutor. He turned over and started doing civil attorney work. He's the local attorney in Cleveland, Ohio. He's an Indian. Then you have Billy Mills out of Chicago, and he's a copyright trademark lawyer. So, but I met him through an activist called Greg Greer, and Billy is really an honest person. I mean, Billy, he's 75% Italian and the other half white. He's really a good guy. Billy has been there, but again, he's a lawyer. Out of all them attorneys, I trust Billy the most. I tell you that much. Now, Billy is okay.
Oh, looks like we just dropped her. Real quick, Al says, LeBron James is from Cleveland. Did he help her in any way? That's a good question. I think that would come up. But she's coming back. Good. But this also goes back to how we have to get involved.
Got that picture. Say that again.
Oh, I was just saying that this goes back to how we have to start getting more involved in our local politics, like you're doing right now. But Al Jackson said, LeBron James is from Cleveland. Did he help you in any way?
So actually, LeBron is from Akron, and no, he never helped me in no type of way. He actually made a statement, said that he didn't really know what was going on. And I got on the Roland Martin show, and I told Roland, I said, well, he could have said something. he wore a shirt for Eric Gardner to say he couldn't breathe. And, you know, he could have said something about Tamir's case, but he didn't say anything. So I think at the end of the day, they were trying to put my background out there like I was a negligent mother, because they put my background up there. And that don't have nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? What he did to my son don't have anything to do with my background. And I believe that's why some of the people kind of derailed from me, but some of them came back around. So it is what it is. Shame on them for judging me. So what if I had a background? They don't know me.
Yeah.
I come from a very... Say that again.
That's the same exact thing that they have done. That's the same exact thing that they have done with my cousin Philando Cass-Hill. After they murdered him, they set up there and try to pour his background about marijuana use, and if that makes him a bad person. But then if we bring up anything that they have done of their background for over 500 plus years, the rape, rob, and murder, and all of that madness and crimes that they commit to, it makes them what? The worst enemy and the worst people on the face of this earth. So at the end of the day, your background from what they have done with wrongdoing, that's always a cover-up. And notice who's always behind them: the media. The demonic media is always trying to back them. So don't ever let that put you down, ever let that interfere with anything that you were doing, sister. Always keep your head up at always and all the time.
Demetri?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's what they do. They try to, dirty us up, even though they, murdered us and a whole host of things. They want to, because I actually got into it a little bit with somebody in a comment section when they said, in regards to Tamir's case, oh, well, his mother shouldn't have been allowing him to play, with a gun or toy gun. They, know that it can be mistaken and this, that, and the other. And I said, it would just behoove you to get some knowledge. Ohio's an open and carry state. So even if he was doing that, playing with had a gun, it was still legal for him to do that until they found out otherwise. And so that's what they do, though. They try to dirty us up, dig in our background, try to find something so they can cause a distraction. But you guys notice something? You haven't heard too much more about that dude who let that bomb off in Tennessee, have you? Because he's white. He's white, and the stuff that you did here was, he was a veteran and he has some mental issues, and just like that. You haven't heard nothing else.
He was a white man?
He was a white man, which is why it left the news cycle. I mean, some of that magnitude on Christmas Day is completely out of the news cycle.
All right. Now, I just have this last question I have for you. Representative Cross, she just won election representing, what's that? Ferguson. She came from Ferguson. Her son was murdered and killed down there. And now she's in Congress, but she's not talking anything about her son and what had happened. She's on the everybody train, and I'm going to do this for everybody, and we're going to do this. And, you have a lot of highlight politically. You're involved politically. So, like you said, you talk about your city council and these different positions, judgeships. And, we say this on the show all the time. You've got judgeships that are open. You've got city council that is open. You've got planning commissions and all this other stuff. Do you have any plans of running for maybe local office or being a sponsor to somebody that you can put on local office so we can get some of these laws changed?
Are you asking me that question?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. I really try to not be really political sometimes, but it just really all depends. Far as my record goes, I don't know if I'm gonna be running for anything unless I get my record cleared up.
But also in politics, you can sponsor and be behind somebody because you have a high profile, so you could influence a lot of elections and get the right people put in these offices to change these laws.
it just all depends on what their beliefs is and policies and changes like that. Because I have had a chance, when I guess who was just running, Hillary and Trump, and I had a chance to meet with Elizabeth Warren and Castro. What's his name? Castro, but what's his
Raul
first?
Castro.
Julian Castro, and looking at their policies, their reform policies and stuff. And I told them, like, it needs to be stronger, and they need to, you need to insist this and you need to insist that, far as ceasefire on Black and brown people and things of that nature. But I don't really think that he was strong enough. He used to work in the Obama cabinet, and Elizabeth Warren, she just want to be cool. So as you see, they dropped out and all that other stuff, but but that was back when they was running. So I have had the chance to look at some things like that. It just really all depends on what it is. As a person, I will have to do that as Samaria Rice. I wouldn't be able to tie that into the foundation because we are 501c3 right now. So it just all depends, and I guess my position and all of that stuff, it may say some things, I don't know, but who cares at the end of the day? I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm not thinking about them. They do what they want to do. Hey, they do what they want to do. So I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna open up I'm gonna do what I want to do as the Lord allows me. You know what I'm saying? For real. Why not?
Final thoughts, Ms. Demetra.
No, my final thoughts are really I'm encouraged by your strength. And as I said, it's really refreshing to see you persevere in this manner, to see you standing strong for justice for your son. You're doing any and everything that you can do to make sure that his life was not taken in vain, and the person that did take his life it pays for it as he should. He should pay for it 100%. And it's a shame that white supremacy keeps letting him and many others get away with it. So like I said, I'm behind you 100% because I know Gary and the people going with him are going to do everything in their power to make sure that you get justice. And so
sounds like a plan.
Out to you as well.
Final thoughts, Donovan.
All I gotta say is thank you so much for coming on the show. Please come back anytime you have something to say, because unlike a lot of the everybody and we got to get together and be peaceful and passive and all that stuff, you seem very unapologetic, like you should when your baby has been murdered in the streets. And I just want to tell Cleveland, Ohio, get ready, because the 5-star with the local chairman will be on their way to handle a little business.
I come from a very unique background. And, I used to smile a lot when I played football, and my coach used to tell me, stop smiling and start kicking ass. So I stopped smiling and I started kicking ass. My brother Nasi, you ready to lock and load, homie?
Always for the people. All power to the people.
Ms. Rice, just send the word down to the street that 5-star is on the way. The new Black Panther Nation is on the way. And I want the officials of Cleveland to know one thing, that my First Amendment right, the freedom to protest, I ain't asking for no goddamn permission. They said when they chant, it's amazing because they say something. Whose street? Our streets. So guess what? We finna take over your streets. And that's what it is, homie. Say, man, I want to thank y'all. It's one reason why we the best in the business. We don't cut no corners. I want to thank my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, the local chairman, the new Black Panther Nation, Commander Nasi, my new sister, Samaria Rice, and I am the 5-star general, Cleveland, Ohio. It ain't the 4th of July, but we coming to light that bitch up. Get a seatbelt, because it's going down. And until Monday, we'll holler at you.
Love you.